This is Bill Langdon, and what I want to do is talk about our paper with Wolfgang Banzaf. It will be in the summer edition of Artificial Life Journal, so the current work. The title of the paper is Long-Term Evolution Experiment with Genetic Programming, and what we're going to do is look at evolution of genetic programming populations for up to 1 million generations. So this work was in some ways inspired by Rich Lenski's work. Over the last 30 years, he evolved the bacteria Escherichia coli for some 75,000 generations. What we're going to do is we're going to evolve GP for up to 1 million generations, which takes the order of weeks rather than decades. What we'll see is that GP populations continue to evolve, continue to find improvements, but as time progresses, the rate of improvement falls. Nonetheless, it does not stop, and fitness improvement continues. What we'll see is the rate of disruption, so not just the fitness improvement, but fitness changes, falls in proportion to the size of the programs. And of those fitness changes, only a small fraction are actually fitness improvements. So what we've plotted here is a total of 10 runs. Notice both axes of log scales, and we're minimizing fitness, so lower is better. And you can see as time progresses, the runs do make progress. And on the right-hand side, the colored numbers there are the number of fitness improvements found over time. So although the rate of improvement may fall, we're still getting many thousands of improvements and even getting improvements at the end of the runs. If we look at the disruption that crossover causes, so crossover is changing the syntax. So in our population, we have 500 different trees, but they have the same fitness. And the reason why they have the same fitness is because the children have the same fitness as their parents. When we look at the evaluation of the children, we'll see that the crossover is disrupting the evaluation initially, and that disruption propagates up the tree, but it only propagates a finite distance of the tree, and that's what this graph is showing. So we've got different runs with different depths of progression, but in all cases there's an effective limit on how far the impact of crossover progresses. If the impact does not reach the root node, the child has identical fitness to its parent. And very quickly, with traditional tournament selection, the population converges on the best fitness in the population. If we look at the rate at which children have different fitness, so not necessarily improved, but simply different, we can see there's a very strong linear relationship between the rate at which crossover changes fitness and the size of the trees. So the larger the trees, the less impact crossover has. And effectively, what this means is crossover is not going to have an impact unless it lands relatively close to the root node. And as the trees get bigger, the chance of this happening falls in proportion to the size of the trees. If we look at the fraction of fitness changes, which are actually fitness improvements, then this varies not only between runs, but also as evolution progresses, the chance of finding improvements also falls. So what we're seeing is, although the chance of a fitness change we can explain easily in terms of the size of the trees, the fraction that are better is a small fraction, but it does not reach zero. So we're still getting fitness improvements even to the end of the runs. So to conclude, we've run GP on relatively modest populations, 500 up to 4,000 trees. We've run up to 1 million generations. We've run up to trees of up to 2 billion nodes. We've shown that this is feasible, and in the process we've made many improvements to GP implementations, but we also gain insights. One of the things that we studied is information flows within these evolved trees. And what that information theory shows is the chance of disruption, the chance of runtime disruption caused by crossover falls as we move away from the crossover point. So if we are deep in the tree, a long way from the root node, then there's little chance that a crossover will change fitness. And as I said, this chance of fitness disruption falls in proportion to tree size. We would expect in other more entropy losing function sets, so not just straight arithmetic operations, but maybe Boolean operations, maybe with conditionals, we would expect this failure of disruption to be even more severe break on evolution. Nonetheless, despite these aspects trying to slow down evolution, it does not prevent evolution, and we still get fitness improvements even after thousands of generations.